The glass shattered against my cheek before I felt the water. Ice cold, straight from the fridge, slapping my face like a stranger's hand. My own son, Ethan, stood over me, 32 years old, veins bulging in his neck. "You want bread?" he snarled. "Buy your own damn loaf." Then he stormed out, leaving me dripping on the linoleum I'd scrubbed every Saturday for 25 years. That was the moment I reached for my phone and canceled the credit card I'd kept open in his name since college. No warning. No second chance. Just the soft click of a button and the silence that followed, like the house itself exhaled. I'm Eleanor Grayson, 67 last April, and this is the story I never thought I'd tell aloud. My voice cracks now, not from age, but from the weight of it all. Sit with me a minute. Let the kettle hum. Let the snow keep falling past the kitchen window. I need to go back, slow, the way memory insists. Mornings used to start with the smell of yeast. I'd knead dough on this same oak table, flour drifting like dust motes in the shaft of winter light. Ethan would pad in barefoot, 8 years old, hair sticking up like dandelion fluff. "Grandma, can I punch it?" he'd beg. I'd lift him onto the stool, guide his small fists into the soft belly of the loaf. The rhythm of it, thump, fold, thump, felt like prayer. Later, when his mother, my daughter-in-law Claire, complained the kitchen was too crowded, I moved the bowl to the laundry room. I told myself space was love. Flashback to the hospital 2011. Ethan's appendix burst the night before finals. I sold the pearl necklace my own mother left me, $3,000 gone in one swipe, to cover the deductible Claire's insurance wouldn't touch. Ethan lay pale against the white sheets, whispering, "Don't leave, Grandma." I slept in the vinyl chair, neck crooked, waking every time the monitor beeped. When he came home, I pureed chicken soup until it was silk, spooned it between his cracked lips. Claire took selfies with the bouquet her coworker sent. I took the midnight shifts, years collected like unpaid bills. I downsized from the yellow house on Maple, where Ethan learned to ride a bike in the driveway, to this cottage so he could have the equity for his startup. "Just till we're on our feet," he promised, eyes bright with pitch deck dreams. I signed the papers with a pen that skipped. The new owners painted my lilac shutters beige. I planted new lilacs here instead, tiny sticks that took 3 seasons to bloom. Daily life shrank to small, deliberate acts. I'd fold Ethan's t-shirts, still left in the dryer when he visited, smoothing the wrinkles the way I once smoothed his fevered brow. The cotton carried the scent of his cologne, sharp citrus over something metallic, like coins left in rain. I'd hang them in the guest room he rarely slept in. The room stayed ready, quilt turned down, lavender sachet in the drawer, charger coiled on the nightstand. Hope is a tidy room, but hope frays. Claire started texting instead of calling. "Running late. Keep dinner warm." I'd ladle beef stew into the good bowls, the ones with the tiny chipped rows, then scrape most of it into Tupperware at 10 p.m. Ethan's visits grew surgical. 10 minutes to borrow the hedge clippers. 5 to raid the pantry. "You don't use the good olive oil anyway," he'd say, already backing out the door. I'd stand on the porch in slippers, watching taillights disappear, the cold biting through my robe. Money became the quiet battleground. Ethan's app tanked. Investors ghosted. He asked for bridge loans. I refinanced the cottage, again, pulling equity like pulling teeth. Claire sent Venmo requests labeled groceries that bought ribeyes and organic kale. I paid because the alternative was imagining my grandson, little Mason, gap-toothed and solemn, eating cereal for dinner. I never met Mason's eyes in the photos they posted. They cropped me out. The bread incident wasn't the first crack. It was the fracture that ran clean through. I'd woken with a migraine, the kind that makes light feel like needles. The loaf on the counter was the last of the sourdough I'd babied for a week. Starter fed at dawn, dough-proofed in the turned-off oven. Ethan banged in at noon, hungover, yelling for Claire who wasn't there. I asked, soft, the way you ask a sleepwalker not to step off the roof. "Sweetheart, could you grab the bread knife?" "Top drawer." He whirled, grabbed the water bottle from the fridge, and hurled its contents in my face. "I'm not your servant, Eleanor." The name landed like a slap. Eleanor, not Mom, not Grandma. Water streamed off my chin onto the apron I'd sewn from his old Little League shirts. I tasted metal. He didn't see me tremble. He was already scrolling his phone. I dried my face with the dish towel that still smelled of bleach and lemon. Then I opened the banking app. The card was platinum, his name embossed beneath mine as authorized user. I'd added him the day he got his learner's permit. My gift for parallel parking on the first try. My thumb hovered. 20 years of birthdays, orthodontist bills, the ski trip I skipped so he could go with friends. I pressed remove user. The screen blinked. Are you sure? I was surer than I'd been about anything since the day I pushed him into the world in a hospital room that smelled of iodine and fear. Ethan noticed at the gas station. Texts detonated. WTF, Grandma? Call me now. You're embarrassing me. I let the phone buzz itself to black on the counter. Outside, the lilacs I'd planted shivered in wind that carried the first real cold of November. I brewed chamomile hands steady for the first time in months. The steam rose like incense. He came at dusk, pounding hard enough to rattle the stained glass panel. Claire waited in the SUV, engine running, Mason's silhouette in the booster seat. Ethan's face was red, eyes wild. Open the door, Eleanor. We need to talk. I opened it but left the chain on. State your business. You canceled my card? After everything? Everything, I repeated. The word tasted like rust. You're overreacting. It was water. It was contempt. My voice didn't shake. 28 years of love and you weaponize water. I'm done being your ATM. Claire leaned on the horn, 3 sharp bleats. Ethan flinched. Mom, please. The mortgage, your circus, your monkeys. I unhooked the chain, stepped onto the porch so Mason wouldn't hear. Snowflakes melted on my cheeks. I sold my home, my jewelry, my sleep. You sold my dignity for a tank of gas. We're even. He tried tears then, the same crocodile drops that worked at 16 when he totaled my Buick. I'm sorry, okay? I was stressed. Sorry as tomorrow, I said. Tomorrow never came. I quoted myself without meaning to. The line felt ancient, carved into bone. Claire yelled from the car, "This is elder abuse." I almost laughed. The woman who'd once asked me to pay for her lash extensions, accusing me of abuse. I looked past Ethan to the SUV. Mason pressed his palm to the window, fog blooming around it. I lifted my hand, not a wave, just acknowledgement. Then I stepped back inside and closed the door. The deadbolt slid home with a sound like a judge's gavel. Silence pooled, thick and clean. I walked through the cottage room by room, touching what was mine alone now. The chipped rose bowl on the shelf, mended with gold kintsugi after Ethan knocked it off at 12. The Afghan I crocheted during chemo nights when my sister wasted away. The key rack with only one key left. The cottage, mine free and clear. Mortgage burned in the fireplace last solstice. I slept without setting an alarm. Dawn came pale and honest. I baked a single loaf, just enough for me, scoring the top with a lame in the shape of a lilac sprig. The smell filled every corner. I ate one warm slice with butter and blackberry jam I'd put up in August, the jars lined like soldiers on the pantry shelf. Ethan tried once more, 3 days later. Left a voicemail I didn't play. Claire sent an email about family counseling. I archived it. Mason's school picture arrived in the mail. No return address. His gap-toothed grin crooked and real. I slipped it into the empty frame on the mantel where Ethan's graduation photo used to hang. Spring followed winter the way grace follows grief. The lilacs exploded purple against the white fence. I joined the library board, taught sourdough classes on Tuesdays. Women my age and younger brought their own scarred hands, their own stories of children who forgot the sound of their mother's laugh. We kneaded side by side, flour rising like forgiveness. Some nights I sit on the porch swing, chains creaking like old bones, and watch fireflies stitch the dark. The cottage is quiet but not empty. It hums with the certainty that love is not a debt children repay. It's a gift we give without ledger. I gave mine freely. When it was returned broken, I stopped offering pieces of myself as payment. The credit card stays canceled. The door stays locked to those who kick it. And every morning I break bread alone, warm, fragrant, mine. The crust cracks under my fingers like the first honest sound I've made in years.